Hi, and welcome to our second podcast. I'm Raj, my background's in film, design, media and tech.
And I'm Mike, and you may know me from such ventures as Barcamps, Google App Enterprises, Startup Growth, and every social network going.
You're here because you're a Kiwi that either works in or has a great passion for tech and media in New Zealand. Let's start with a wrap.
Before we do, just to say, this is episode 2, and we're still learning, especially what microphones to use. So bear with us in our echoey Miramar studio. On to the news.
So Vodafone have boosted the 4G capacity as demand grows, and mainly in the Auckland area. They've boosted the central Auckland area, allowing more 4G users to jump on simultaneously and experience fast mobile internet without issues. 4G available to about 2.5 million Kiwis, and as a result, they have about 400,000 active 4G devices on the network.
4G, mate? What does 4G mean?
4G is actually one extra than 3G, so it's a little bit faster from my understanding. I understand it as broadband in your pocket, actual broadband speeds.
And there's nothing wrong with it? It's just instant
personal
upgrade.
Experience shows that it uses up your battery a lot, especially on iPhone, right? I'm using up my battery a lot. So I called Vodafone, or we tweeted, and they said the best thing to do is turn 4G off on your phone to save battery power. So I don't see the point of having 4G if you can't use it properly.
So it goes fast. So does your battery.
Yes.
Wow.
Mayor Celia Wade-Brown signed a memorandum of collaboration with NEC out in Japan. They produce digital technology that helps cities like Wellington operate infrastructure and transport networks. What she's done is sign this non-exclusive agreement so that it enables the company and the council to work together to test and perfect a range of technologies that could run timetables or some of our infrastructure in the city, bus routes, all that kind of thing. And they're going to be almost like I don't think we're guinea pigs, but we're going to be like trialling a bunch of stuff in New Zealand using their technology, which could make us world leaders, who knows. So that's sort of what the council are looking to do towards their 2014 smart capital sort of goal, is get a bunch of these kinds of projects underway in the tech space.
Very cool. And on that note, there's an amazing travel company. Well, it's not a travel company, a data company here based in Wellington called Aeroflow. And I'm sure if you're in Christchurch, you and the council are already benefiting from their real-time travel data. So the how long travel time is to get into the centre of Christchurch, that's all real-time, and Aeroflow are one of the companies behind that. And that's a good old Wellington startup. Very cool.
Well, that's awesome.
And some of the big boys are out on show. We've got the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference coming up, June the 2nd and 4th. That's tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, you'll have all got your fancy phones and watches.
Yes, you'll be standing outside of the Apple... Oh, wait, we don't have any Apple stores in New Zealand. You'll be standing outside Harvey Norman, JB Hi-Fi, or Ubi, wanting your new iPhablet or iWatch or whatever they come out with.
You're an Apple boy, mate. You'll be loving this,
I can admit it, yes. But I did make a disclaimer earlier this year. I said, hey, if I don't get my phablet, I'm not saying in between an iPad mini and an iPhone, basically I call it an iPhone mini because it's very small, something in between, if I don't get it, I'm switching to a Galaxy Note 4 by then, I guess, yeah.
Wow, so this is their chance, is it?
That's the chance, yeah, I'm taking Android on.
Wow.
I've had a good play over the years and it's okay, it's getting better, but now I just want the damn device over the iOS. If they can't deliver, then,
And talking of Android, Google I.O. is the next one that's coming up the end of this month, June 25th and 26th. This is, again, very much a developer conference. Of course, they do all of the Oprah, what's under your seat, here's all the gadgets. Also, Google do I.O. Extended. Fundamentally, they stream all of their sessions, and you can get a venue and you get collateral and hold a wee little party and watch the Google I.O. conference from afar. Now, New Zealand hasn't done any of these. They're very popular around the world. But there might be something coming from a Wellington company, a very awesome tech retail company that you'll all know. So I'm in discussions with them to see if we can do a Google I.O. extended session in one of their offices here in Wellington. And that will be the very first in New Zealand.
That's outstanding.
A little bit closer to home, we've got NetHui. This is the Internet NZ, the guys who really advocate and also run some of the, not infrastructure, but the domains of the internet with here in New Zealand. They've got their annual conference called NetHui. That's from the 9th and the 11th of July in Auckland. We'll put up all of the links for you in the show notes, and we'll tweet them out, so follow it, either myself or Raj on Twitter. The next one we got, a bit later in the year, Amazon. Amazon have, of course, moved from the person that will sell you books. In fact, they are the people now that sell most of the books in the world. Their developer conference is November the 11th to 14th, and I believe that will be streamed as well. And back to New Zealand, we've got the NZ Tech, which is the Microsoft one. Very, very popular. Probably one of the bigger ones, and also the ones that have been around for a long time. The Microsoft NZ Tech, always in Auckland. And that, for your diaries, is 9th and 12th of September this year. Hey, look, we're happy to promote any New Zealand events, so get in touch. Details of how to do that are at the end of the podcast. They'll be in the show notes as well, and we're going to try and share these on Twitter and Google+. So, episode 2, bear with us, but we'll get the show notes out as well. Talk about the internet, of course, as we were talking there with NetHui. A lot of people have been talking about the Kiwis are getting blocked from Netflix. Now, Netflix isn't officially in New Zealand, but you can use various ways of getting around those geo-fencing, and you can
hear things. Yes.
You do this, Raj?
No, I hear about it. I want to learn. I haven't actually got around to doing it yet, but I need to know how to do it properly.
Yeah, and one of the most popular ways is unblock.us, unblock us. And they've even called out that it's not a Netflix thing, and it's not an issue with them. It's actually the New Zealand ISPs are actively sniffing and blocking the Netflix traffic. Now, that's a retail thing, that's a consumer thing, who cares? But as a tech worker, think about it. Unless you work for an ISP, this isn't probably, you think, in your realm of experience, but the more that we move to the cloud, and we move businesses to the cloud, then these sort of issues are going to raise their heads more and more. So should ISPs be actively blocking certain data? I believe not. What do you think, Raj?
No, that's not right. That's not what the internet was set up for, right?
Correct.
It's not what the internet's all about.
So back to business. One of the great posts that I saw recently was actually tweeted by Bill Bennett, wonderful journalist. I highly recommend following him. He's at Bill Bennett, New Zealand, Auckland-based journalist. Tech journalist, and Ian Appley. He is not necessarily a journalist, he's a commentator on the cloud and smart cities, again, at Ian Appley. They were interviewed, I think it's the wrong term, but they gave their comments on 20 real-world IT cost-cutting mistakes you need to avoid. There's a whole bunch of them. In fact, there are 20. I'll just read out a couple. Number 2, we need to meet budget now. Who cares if it costs a fortune later? I am sure as a tech worker you sit there thinking this is just not the way to go. This business is or this government agency is going to rue these decisions. Number 4 that they came up with was, we just fired, I beg your pardon, I'll start again. We just fired the one guy who can fix this. Yeah.
I just don't get people's decision processes sometimes, It's just nuts.
It's fascinating. I mean, I actually think that if you have a business that has some secret source IT that runs your business or your government agency that is reliant on one person, you've got bigger issues. And if you go and fire them, you probably get what you deserve.
No one thought to write any of this down, No.
Number 11, we'll save money by not upgrading software. Windows XP, anyone? Government agencies? Yeah, that's what
you can still get support if you pay for it, though,
You can get support if you pay for
That's where
it.
they get you.
Or there is a workaround that I saw, which is you can fool your Windows XP machine to be a Windows XP embedded device.
Oh.
That support actually lasts for an extra 2 years, I believe, or maybe 1 year, and you get all the security updates. So Windows can be embedded onto devices, not just mobile devices, but fire alarms and those sort of things.
Oh, yes.
That support continues.
Same with the kiosk, what do you call it? The money machines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can fool. There's a hack, and if you just go and search on the internet, you can find there's a hack that you can pretend your Windows XP machine is one of those, and you'll get the updates.
That's the new line, Instead of there's an app for that, there's a hack for that.
Exactly. And the last one, we'll save money by building it ourselves. I'm 6 and 1.5 dozen of this. If you've got the skills and it is your secret sauce that you're building, I think this is a very good thing to do. You will save money. But if you think, oh, we need a new mail system, therefore we'll go and build a new email system for ourselves, that's just madness. You've got to make sure that you're building the stuff that makes you different from your competitors down the road.
And the alternative to hacking your XP, you could probably just upgrade, and that would probably save you a whole bunch of hassle.
That's true. That's very true.
Now, speaking of secret sauce, if you're in retail, in the retail space, this may be of interest to you. Ibeacon. Mike, what's up with the Ibeacon?
Now, Ibeacon is something that, look, I'm not an Apple guy, but I've heard all about Ibeacon. I've been doing some research recently about for some digitization of venues, etc. And so I finally went, what is this Ibeacon? And is it actually just an Apple technology that you have to use with other Apple devices like iOS and iPads? So I went off and found out what it is. And in a nutshell, I'll tell you what it is. It's Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth low energy. Any device can be Ibeacon. Ibeacon, by the way, is actually a trademark. So you can't just say, I am Ibeacon. You have to be certified to work with that. But you can put up your own Bluetooth low-energy devices. There's a whole stack of the little machines that you can get. Anything from $5. There's a company in Auckland that will sell you for $5. You can scatter them all over your venue.
Oh, yeah.
What Ibeacon does, and without getting too technical, is it advertises itself. It says, I am here. I am a device and I am here. Bluetooth does allow you then to connect to that device and then have a session going. But Ibeacon doesn't do that. It just does the advertising part. So you don't get the data off the Ibeacon. All you do is you walk into a shop, say, your app that you've already downloaded. So you've already got the a shop in Wellington, bigger shop. The Kirk's, the Kirkcaldy and Staines app. You've downloaded that already. You've got it on your Android device or your iOS device. And when you walk in, it will be running in the background. It will then say, "Oh, I've noticed there's an Ibeacon." It tells me what number it is or what identifier it is, because they might have 5 or 6 of them. So I'm Ibeacon number 1, and it will tell you how far away you are from it. The app then has to do all the clever stuff. So it will say, Ibeacon number 1 is in the perfume section. The app will do this, and then the app will go off to go and get some data about perfume and pop up something maybe that says, buy new perfume.
Right.
So it's not the Ibeacon. All the Ibeacon is doing is saying, I'm Ibeacon number 1, and you are this far away from me.
That's interesting. So it just says, look at me, I'm here.
Yeah.
Come this way.
Exactly.
Say some perfume.
So the only part that is Apple-y, if you like, is the way that it says, I am here and this is who I am. There is a format that Apple have stipulated saying when an Ibeacon puts out that advert or that advertising to say who I am, where I am, you do it in this format. That's it. It is just a Bluetooth low-energy device, which is why there are many organisations that you can go and buy these things from.
And so there's others, say, the Android side of the world, that already have those sorts of technologies as well, right? But they can't call it Ibeacon, but does the same thing, right?
There are, because it's Bluetooth low energy, any device that's got BLE, as they call it, BLE capability in it, so most of the new Samsungs do, or the Nexuses do, they can pick up these Ibeacon signals, right. And then, of course, it's just the app you've got. It's not that the Ibeacon's doing anything fancy. So if Kirk's, for instance, have an Android app, then it will say, oh, I've noticed that you're near Ibeacon number 1. Ibeacon number 1, I know, says the app, is near the perfume, and your Android device will pop up a buy more perfume.
Here's a voucher.
That's
where the retail guys are going to love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you could do it in things like you are now getting close to your seat at the stadium. Or as you walk in, it could say, hey, I know that you're currently in seat number 6 because you've got the app and your ticket is in the app. And you're walking past a whole bunch of great seats that haven't been sold. We'd like to just tap here, upgrade, and you get a better seat.
See, that's quite cool. That's an interesting way. I thought I'd just go, hey, instead of doing you're at the movies, instead of doing the whole go buy some popcorn and ice cream ads on the visuals, you'll get a little pop-up when you edge it down. Oh, have you got your popcorn and your Jeffers? Yep. If not, there's a discount going right now. So I thought that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. So there's an awful lot of interesting stuff you can do with Ibeacon. But I think the key thing to remember is, A, it's not really an Apple thing. Great marketing from Apple to stick the word Ibeacon on a technology that already exists. You can use it. Will be available, and it can be used on any app on almost any device. And Windows phones, Android phones, of course iOS, all of the phones, Blackberries. If they've got Bluetooth
They're
low
still
energy,
making the Blackberries.
I do believe they're still out there somewhere.
Still got the best name out of all.
I've got a friend who swears by them, and she will punch me if I say anything bad about the Blackberry, so I won't. So as long as you can get an app on there onto these Bluetooth low energy BLE phones, you're away. On something completely different from Ibeacon, I just want to share a link really from it's David Mole and Sandy Mamoli of TradeMe. They have been running, and Sandy particularly is an agile guru. She runs the agile process using Kanban and Scrum. Anybody would like to read about their experience of migrating TradeMe, the whole of TradeMe, and migrating to Spotify's squad model. What does that mean? This is a way of working. This is a way of scaling up the agile process. We'll put the link into the show notes, but I would highly recommend doing a search for probably David Mole and Sandy Mamoli of TradeMe, or just go TradeMe migrating to Spotify squad model. It's an excellent read. And finally, following on from episode 1, we've been contacted by Alana Nisbet down in Dunedin about Life Hack Labs. WTF is a Life Hack Lab. Essentially, it's an opportunity for 20 Kiwi youth, that's you and me out, Raj, sorry mate, who have great ideas to come up to Wellington with an all-expenses paid trip and create entrepreneurial projects that help social well-being with a focus on social and tech. The best place to go is to go to labs.lifehackhq, all one word, .co. That's labs.lifehackhq.co, and then you can apply, and applications close on the 29th of June this year. And we're looking to get Sam Rai from Inspiral, who is behind the Life Hack Labs, on the show very soon. I had a chat with him this week, and he's very keen to come and explain all about it.
And that's Life Hack has nothing to do with the Life Hacker website. It's completely different.
That's correct. Yeah, no, I asked Sam Rai. I had that question as well. No, it's nothing to do with the very popular Life Hacker site. It's a similar concept. It's all about taking great ideas and bringing them together and then sharing them. But no, it's nothing to do with that website.
Great. And that's what's happening this week. Now, Mike, I just saw something, a big thread in Twitter this week from NZ Ben about developers and where we're getting them from. I know a few agencies, people like Xero and Vend and basically every software develop house are looking for developers. They're aching out, looking for them everywhere. And when people were talking about either we promote them through schools, you learn them earlier, learn about apps and technology way earlier in school, almost like financial literacy. We should have maybe tech literacy. And then they started talking about their overseas recruitment drives, and so they're going hard out looking for these guys. These skills that are needed, and we can't fill the gaps from what we can see. What do you reckon?
Oh, look, it's a big problem. Being a member of NZ Rise last year, there was something that was discussed a lot. I know that the IITP, which is the Institute of Technology People, I don't know what it's called, what they are, but they're the guys who look after the tech workers. So if you're listening to this and you're a tech worker, you should be a member. They have a big focus and big discussions with the government about this. And of course, we hear Vend and Xero and TradeMe constantly saying, we just can't find the people. Look, it's not just about those companies as well. If you're a rockstar tech company, or even if you're just a startup tech company, yeah, of course, your secret sauce is developers. But everybody nowadays uses computers. And we go back to that. If your secret sauce makes you different from the person down the road, then you're likely to use computers to help you with that. And you're going to need developers.
Yeah.
So it's an issue for almost everybody. There's very few people that wouldn't actually, of any size, that wouldn't need developers nowadays. So it's a massive, massive issue that I welcome Ben putting up that discussion. Wow, what a big discussion it was.
Yeah.
However, I mean, his was very focused on Vend, and he was asking, are we doing it wrong? Are we asking the wrong questions? I suspect the answer is No, I don't know. Maybe he is. But I think it's just that we don't have that talent at the moment, and we don't seem to be growing it at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Is we've got people coming in, but dripping through, but we have resource here that could be useful, and we're not cultivating anything at the moment. Not really. Though I have noticed, like Kirsty from Vend posted about one outfit that's helping in schools, the workshops for schools, they gather workshops, all that kind of stuff. So that's good. And I know people like Vend, she mentioned doing stuff in primary schools and things like that, just to build awareness. But I haven't seen anything come through yet because, it takes time,
It's good that we're dealing with it now, I suppose, and not thinking, oh, well, we'll wait till next year. But it's not a solution, a thing that we can solve right now. Catalyst as well. Catalyst have been running their open source academies, I think they call them. They've been running those for a number of years as well. Again, it's tech companies trying to help themselves, trying to get out there and go, we have a problem and we just need to grow these people somehow. There are some excellent programs that are out there. Do you know about the Summer of Tech?
Yes, I've never been.
Never been? Never been involved?
I heard it's quite nice.
It's a fantastic initiative, and it's been running for quite a number of years now, that brings together the technology students over summer. So when they've done a 1 or 2 or 3 years of their courses, they then come together with businesses and organisations and agencies, government agencies, say, that can give them some projects to run and to develop on. So it's real hands-on experience in real life. Of course, what it does is it introduces the best of the developers with the best of the company. So I know Xero and out here in Miramar, the Weta FX guys used to get a lot of people from that. So that's an excellent program. So if you are somebody who is going through training at the moment or going through university, look out for the Summer of Tech. There's a new one as well called the Inspiral. So Inspiral is
yes, the group, right? The collective.
The collective, and we talked about just previously about the Life Hack Lab, and that's an inspired initiative. So Inspiral's also got a Dev Academy, which is pretty intensive. This is a paid-for course, so you might say, I want to be a Rails developer. I'm not sure. Please look it up on their site whether they do Rails or not. But you pick one, PHP maybe, or I don't know, whatever it is. And you pay your money, and then it's 19 weeks of intense training. So imagine taking a 3-year course, squishing it down, and at the end of it, you pop out as both an experienced and an extremely competent developer.
So they have real world projects rather than just learning about it through books and tutorials. You're actually working on actual projects.
Yep. So it's in a classroom situation. I don't know the details. Go and have a look at the Inspiral's Dev Academy website. Again, it'll be in the show notes. But that's a new one, and again, that's the industry trying to help itself. Yeah,
it's good to see stuff like that happening.
It is. The IITP. One of the things that IITP do, not apart from advocate, so they're in the government's ear saying, "Hey, this is a problem. What are we going to do about it?" They also have a great program, and this is probably aimed more at you and I, Raj, than the students, which is ICT Connect. Do you know about the ICT Connect program?
No, unfortunately I don't. But I'm sure someone I know in this podcast probably knows a lot about it.
I don't know a lot about it, but I know a little bit about it. This is aimed at getting old, crusty IT people, that would be Raj, not me, out into schools. And you just go out and you are there to advocate for being a developer or working in IT is a great stuff, and getting it in front of kids. It's not necessarily training them, but it's just taking to the kids, this is what it means to be a developer. This is what it means to be...
Making it cool again, maybe.
Yeah, making it cool, exactly, and getting out there. One of the things I talk with my kids, of course, is they've grown up through the consumer world.
Well,
and so they look at computers now as just, well, someone does that, I don't do it. I don't have to hack that. It just all works for me.
Just magically happens.
And of course, being able to say to them, someone has developed that, and that person could be you, will spark off a lot of interest in some people. But when you tell them the sort of salaries they're on and the sort of opportunities and places they can live in, they get really excited.
Yeah, well, they used to be, they hear the stories about Google, Facebook, Twitter, the work environments with the slides and the free food and the people doing your laundry, all that kind of stuff. That used to appeal. But now people want to actually do interesting things as well,
Yes. make a difference.
Yeah. It's not all about getting your laundry done by Nana Facebook,
Sounds good to me. So look, I think it's excellent that Ben, I mean, he's come from a Venn point of view, has raised this the Twitter conversation. It's one of the longest I've ever seen, actually, from a New Zealand-based tweet. There's also it's sparked an ongoing discussion, so it's not new. There are a lot of people are trying to solve this, and the more people that talk about it, and the more discussions are had, and the more that businesses do try and help themselves and tell the world this is what we're doing, the better. Because we can't just rely on the traditional universities and tech colleges to pump out the developers we need. One of the issues that those guys have, of course, is that tech moves so fast.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, the courses they've got now, outdated, in 2 or 3 years? They'll be outdated?
Yeah, exactly. And then we're back to what we talked about in episode 1, Raj, with your job titles.
Yes. And you have to get quite creative on those, wouldn't you?
Exactly. And so Ben talks about not hiring people for, and someone else talked about it as well, not hiring people for a specific skill. Don't get your SQL guru who can do one thing awesomely. You might save a problem that's in your face right now, but you need to get someone who is curious and can spread themselves over many languages and gets IT in its wild and wondrous forms all over.
Multiple disciplines.
Yeah.
It's like the guys who just stick to one language. I remember back in the 90s, I had a friend of mine who only worked in JDE software. Went to London, worked really well, made a stupid amount of money. Came back, no one wanted JDE developers at all at that point. He managed to find one job. So there was one job in New Zealand, in Wellington, that needed him. But he never thought about cross-skilling into other areas. He just, there's one focus. So that's where I think the IT guys might want to think about multiple disciplines. And just like we do in creative, you need to know InDesign and Photoshop, not just Photoshop. You need to know multiple parts of the industry.
Yeah.
I reckon make your life a bit more interesting in your job.
Also, you can, if you know multiple stuff, that generally gives your mindset is of say curiosity, and you're riding the wave of change as opposed to being swamped by it as you come across. I'm just one rock, and it's just going to roll over me, and I don't know what that means. This whole new stuff. I mean, wearable computing and driverless cars and blah blah. But what does that mean for IT workers? Well, if you're curious and you've got multiple skills, then you're going to be a part of that change.
That's right. Yeah.
If you are just a C++ developer, then the good times may come now, but it's all going to change. Oh, news just in. I've just been reading my own blog post.
Oh, as you do?
That said developer stuff. Of course, you've got to have a script to run from, haven't you? And I just noticed there's a comment from a Michael T, who says he's starting empowering tech professionals to pass on their skills using Code Club Aotearoa. The best place to follow this is on Twitter, twitter.com/codeclubnz. I know this is a worldwide phenomenon, actually, and it's taking IT developers, actually putting them in front of kids and then teaching them. So it takes the IITP ICT Connect to the next level. I would heartily recommend everybody go and have a look at twitter.com/codeclubnz and get involved. Thanks very much, Michael, for sharing that with me.
And that's us for this week. And any special shout-outs this week, mate?
Yes, to fit it, hashtag, for bearing with our sound control.
Yeah.
For Alana, for getting in touch, we really appreciate it. And all the support following on from episode 1. Thank you.
There's been some nice response on Twitter, etc. on that, which is good. And also, special thanks to Jack for giving up his room on a nice Sunday morning. Actually, I'm quite tempted to check out that Nerf gun collection while I'm here.
He'd love you to do that. We've already had a wonderful response from people wanting to be interviewed, and expect to hear the first of these in the next week or so. But what about you? If you're a tech worker and have something to say, then we'd love you to get in touch.
Thanks for that, Mike. And for more information, you can find out more about us or this podcast. You can follow Mike and I on Twitter. I'm at NZRaj. Mike's at Miramar Mike. You can also follow this podcast on at #RadioNZ, or email us, Mike and I, on accessgranted at #me.co.nz. And also there's plenty more hashtag goodness on our website, #me.co.nz.
Thanks for your time, and see you on the next podcast.
#me.co.nz.